Parshat Shlach. This year is dedicated to the memory of Rachalaya Bas Rav Chaim Tzvi. Parshat Shlach talks about the sin of the Meraglim, of the spies, who spoke Lashon Hara. They spoke evil about the land of Israel and rejected the gift that God gave the Jewish nation, Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel. We're not going to talk about the actual sin of the Meraglim. Today, I would like to talk about something that occurs immediately after the sin of the Meraglim. First of all, we will discuss the punishment Hashem says that He wants to give the Jewish people for the sin of the spies. Then we will analyze Moshe Rabbeinu's tefillah, his prayer to God, and his request that God should not punish the Jewish people. We will compare his tefillah here with the spies and his prayer after the sin of the golden calf. And then we will ask the question and attempt to answer whether Moshe's tefillah was effective. Did he succeed in getting Hashem to do what Moshe wants him to do? And we'll see what that is exactly. So let us begin. Chapter 14, verse 11. Perek Yud Pasuk Yud Aleph. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe. And God said to Moshe, Ad ani yina'atzuni ha'am hazeh. For how long will this nation anger me? Va'ad ana lo ya'aminu bi. And until when will they not believe me? B'chol ha'otot asher asiti b'kerbo. With all the signs that I've done in their midst. Akenu b'adev v'avo rishenu. I will smite them with a plague. And I will destroy them. Ve'efseh otcha legoy gadol. And I will make you into a great nation. Va'atzum mimenu. And greater and stronger than it. Here we have God, first of all, saying the reason why He's going to punish the Jewish people. And then in the next verse, verse 14, what the punishment is going to be. So let's first look at the reason God gives for punishing the Jewish nation. Hashem says to Moshe two things. Number one, Ad ana yina'atzuni ha'am hazeh. And number two, Ad ana lo ya'aminu bi. What does this mean? Now, Ibn Ezra explains that the word Yina'atzuni means Yach Iseni, make me angry. So Hashem is saying two things. For how long will the Jewish people, until when will the Jewish people anger me? And until when, for how long, will the Jewish people not believe in me? Ignore my miracles that I do in front of them, the signs, the otot. And despite all the signs that I do in front of the Jewish people, despite all the evidence that I'm here, that I'm God, that they should believe in me and listen to me, they're just testing me and they're angering me. That's what Ibn Ezra says God's complaint is to Moshe here. Number one, until when will they anger me? And number two, until when will they continue not to believe in me, despite the signs that I do among them? Sfarno explains slightly differently. He says that the word Yina'atzuni does not really mean anger, but means scorn, Yivazuni. And he said, God says to Moshe, until when will the Jewish people continue to scorn me? How much scorn must I suffer by their hands? How much must I be scorned by them? Ad ana lo ya'aminu bi. What is the limit? How many miracles must I do until the Jewish people finally start believing in me? Whether we say that the word Yina'atzuni means anger, like Ibn Ezra, or the word Yina'atzuni means scorn, like Sfarno, the idea is the same. God is asking Moshe, until when? How much? What must I do for the Jews to finally believe in me? Why do they keep again and again to scorn me, to anger me by sinning, by not trusting in me, by defying me? Now, this verse tells us that the sin that God is talking about here is not the sin just of the Meraglim, of the spies, but God is speaking on a greater scale, and He's actually referring to all the sins the Jews have been doing in the desert. We see that from this verse. God says, until when will they anger me? Until when will they refuse to believe in me? Until when means that it started before and it's continuing until now. So God is referring to all the sins the Jews have been doing in the desert and saying, why do they keep on sinning? Why do they keep on testing me? When is it finally going to stop? You know what? They don't seem to be stopping. Again and again, they test me, they anger me, they refuse to believe in me. Therefore, God says in verse 12, I'm going to smite them with a plague. And Sfarno explains this means instant death. A plague can work very fast. The entire nation will be killed in one shot, is what Moshe understands God to be saying. And they're just going to be destroyed. And instead of the Jewish people that we know then, a new nation will be created. A nation that starts with Moshe. He will be the forefather of the new Jewish nation. Look at Rashi, verse 12. Verse 12 has three parts. God says, I will smite them with a plague. Then Orishenu. And then I will make you into a great nation. Rashi here is speaking about the word Orishenu, which is a difficult word. What does it mean? The shorish is, what you might say, is Yerusha, to inherit. So what is God saying here? That's